Alright, hello, and I'm going to make this video is about a very disturbing subject, but nobody else has really talked about it. I mean, it has made the news, but this is very much concerning. So what you're looking at here is a very, very bad neighborhood, Port Jefferson Station, at the Chereb Lane bus stop in Port Jeff Plaza, where the S62, the S60 stop here, and this is the bus shelter where a woman was raped the other day. I'm going to call it rape because that's what the video hasn't. There are links to the actual video, which I'm not going to be sharing with you, but I will be sharing the news story with you. This was in broad daylight, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and a homeless bum was having a sexual activity with a obviously very inebriated woman right here at this bus stop. I'm not going to get into the graphics of it. Please, it's disgusting. All right. And this was in broad daylight. This is an area in severe decline in Suffolk County, and I won't even wait for a bus here. It's so dangerous. And there's so much criminal activity in this area going on. You could just see the kind of people just hanging around the place is not good. So if you do ride Suffolk County Transit, whatever you do, do not transfer, do not change buses here. All right. What was going on was actually that almost looks like the guy. This almost looks like the guy in the video. I wonder if it's him. He's one of the bums that hangs out over here. And I'm gonna call them bums. Somebody said don't call them bums. Look, I don't feel sorry for these people. All right. The way they behave in public, like what that video showed, is just unacceptable. He was having sexual activity with a woman right here in this bus stop, and there was another man just standing there looking on. So think about what's going on here. I mean, it was. I can't even get into the graphics of it. You watch the story, see for yourself. I'm not going to even, because it's just so disgusting and so disturbing. That I can't even imagine. So whatever you do, do not wait for a bus here. Do not ever wait for a bus here. All right. This area, Port Jefferson Station, is in, and you know when you see a place like this, Ideal Food Basket, that's a ghetto supermarket. You know where they also have one of those in? On Prospect Avenue in Newcastle. All right, so yeah, there was a Bravo here that actually wound up closing because even Bravo felt the neighborhood was too dangerous. So that says something right there. So this whole area is just a complete ghetto. Complete ghetto. An area to avoid. And as well, avoid the area around the train station as well. So this is where it happened right here. So again, it's happening in broad daylight. Don't ever wait for a bus here. Avoid this area at all costs. And I would also urge people to avoid the Port Jefferson train station at all costs as well, which is just up the street, because I waited for a train there last month, and yeah, it was very. I felt very unsafe. There were a lot of seedy looking people, crackheads, beggars all over the place. Don't ever even use this train station. All right. I would highly recommend avoiding this area if at all possible, because it's really bad over here. And even if it doesn't look that bad on the street view, trust me, the kind of people you have hanging around here all the time is not safe at all. And I would highly recommend avoiding this. If you do want to take this train and catch the S62 bus, what you're going to do is you're going to get off the train and you're going to walk over here and wait for the bus across from Mather Hospital for the S62. It's much better in this spot. All right, but if you are taking the S62, I'm telling you, if you plan on taking this train and connecting up with the S62, do not wait over here, and especially do not wait for a bus at Chereb Lane. Do not transfer bus or Chereb Lane. It's very, very dangerous over there. It's every bit as bad as Hempstead. But I want to talk about another area that's also bad along the Route 112 corridor, and that is Quorum. Right. The other area I want to talk about is Quorum. And this is a map. So this is where Port Jefferson Station is, and this is where Quorum is. Quorum is a transfer point between the S61, the S58, and the S60 buses, as well as the 6A. And the transfer point would be right over here. All right. So this is an area that you really do need to avoid. because again, you have the same kind of activity over there. Actually, it's right over here off Mill Road. You can see that you see the buses in the street view right there. But let's see what the street view looks like. You can see what I'm talking about. Let's see when this was taken. All right, this was taken. Oh, this was taken in 2013. So they don't have anything more current than this. It's worse. It's worse than this now. I mean, there's a whole bunch of homeless people all over the shopping center, crackheads all over the place. And again, I would recommend avoiding transferring over here. Some of the activity, it's much worse now than in this street view, which was in 2013. If you have to transfer between the 61 and the 58, I don't know what to tell you, because it's like one of the only transfer points there is. You can see how these communities are neglected here, and you know, it's really unfortunate what's going on. The county allows this criminal activity in broad daylight. It should not happen. That people who take the bus deserve to have a safe transportation system. So it's not just in Nassau we have to worry about the problems in Hempstead. Suffolk has some problem areas too. And again, this is Route 112. And again, you can see how the center of the island and the North Shore are becoming ghettoized. While the Patchogue has turned itself around and is now kind of fancy, and it's the much nicer area over here now. But once you get up north, what happened basically when they cleaned up Patchogue is all the problems kind of went up 112, and they went up into Coram. They just moved around. They just went to Coram, and they just went to Port Jefferson Station. So that's where the problems are now. So Suffolk County Transit, you really got to do something about making sure your passengers are safe. The police should be patrolling these areas every day, and if there's bums there, they should be asked to leave. And if they don't want to, if they're not taking the bus and they don't want to leave, then you arrest them. All right, it's that simple. All right, I've talked about this before, and here's some photos I've taken from Coram over the years in some other areas and some of the stuff I've seen there. Coram has exactly the same kind of problems. It's gotten out of control. It's terrible. It really is. It's just a third world country over there. And look, man, all right, I don't feel sorry for people who constantly break the law, all right? And I had to actually pixel that out because it looked like something funky was going on there, all right? This is not acceptable in public. We can't allow our communities to be turned into third world countries with problems while the laws are only enforced in certain areas. On the Babylon branch and all the rich areas. Meanwhile, the middle class areas, it's perfectly okay to have these kind of problems in our towns. We can't have this anymore. The laws need to be enforced everywhere because it has a real world effect, like this disgusting bathroom in Hicksville, which always has litter and beer bottles and who knows what soiled underwear on the floor. All right, there's trash everywhere. These people break the laws. They get inebriated. They do drugs in public. They commit crime. They get into fights, and they commit disgusting sexual acts in public. They rape people in public. Right? That woman was raped in public in front of everybody, and nobody did a damn thing about it. It's disgusting. I don't have sympathy for them. I have no sympathy for them, all right? I understand there are people that are down on their luck. Homelessness is a big problem. I understand that, but there are programs. There are shelters. But the problem is that what I've heard from numerous people is these people get kicked out of the programs because they commit crime, all right? And you know what? If they want to break the law and commit crime, then jail should be their home. It's that simple. And think of it this way, all right? Long Island's population has grown exponentially. Yet we still only have 3 jails on Long Island. Nassau County Jail, Suffolk County has 2 jails. And that's it. We need to build more jails because we have a lot more criminals on the streets that shouldn't be on the streets. I believe in tough, strong law enforcement because I'm tired of seeing our communities turned into dumps by the lack of proper law enforcement. All right? It's time for things to change. I feel so bad for the people stuck living in a place like Port Jefferson Station. I mean, it's like Westbury, but even worse than Westbury, all right? I mean, literally, I heard a story. A friend of my relative actually once lived there a couple of years ago, and they actually woke up to a bum that crawled in through their window and was sleeping on their couch. All right. So this is what goes on. All right. It's a third world country. Do we want Long Island turning into Detroit? Is that okay that certain section of Long Island are turning into Detroit, while only the rich areas, the rich white areas that are politically connected get to have safe streets? No, it should not be that way. The laws need to be enforced everywhere. All right. So the police need to get their act together, go to these bus stops, patrol them, and if there are bums hanging out there and they're not waiting for the bus and they don't want to leave or get into a program, take them to jail. That's all there is to it. I'm sorry if it sounds cold-hearted. Look, all right, if somebody needs help and if somebody needs help and needs a roof over their head or whatever, that help is there for them. But the problem is that they're too involved in doing crime, and they'd rather continue to drink alcohol, get drunk, do drugs, smoke weed, and commit other kinds of crime than make their life better. Then I'm sorry, jail is the place for them. That's the bottom line. And when it comes to illegals, you know how I feel about it. They need to be deported. Bottom line, the ones that are hanging out on the streets getting drunk like this, the police need to come and just round them up, send them over to ICE, and get them deported, all right? Because a lot of the problems are being brought by these illegals, and they're still in the towns that are like Westbury, like Port Jefferson Station, like Coram, like Hempstead, all these hellholes. Huntington Station, too. People's cars are getting broken into there, all right? So they need to be out, all right? And, you know, this is one of the things I've been disappointed in Trump. All right, he said he was going to deport them, and they're still in those towns. Thank God I don't have to suffer with it anymore. But you know what? I feel bad for the people who do. Just because that chapter of my life is past does not mean that I'll ever forget about the struggles I went through in Westbury. And I feel sorry for all the other people trapped in crappy towns like that. They shouldn't have to be. Nobody should have to deal with this kind of stuff in their towns. The laws should be enforced everywhere. That's the point that I'm trying to make. All right? And people need help. There is help available. Sometimes it's hard to get, but there is help. If you want to break the law and be a nuisance to people, then you're going to have to face the consequences, all right? And that consequence is jail, all right? That's the bottom line. So we need to get more of these people off the streets and into jail. The same things are happening. The same kind of policies are ruining New York City with all those problems there, all right? Liberal policies do not work when it comes to crime. We have to be tough. We have to be firm. And we have to get these troublemakers off the streets and into jail where they belong. That's it.